Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel just released a new X-Men teaser. There was a special live stream event where they revealed what's going on. They're doing brand new episodes on Disney Plus too, so we'll break it all down.
Cyclops!
I know how you feel about it, Wolverine, but...
You know nothing, little man.
If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. I will do new episodes of the series when it starts later this year. It is one of the new Marvel Disney Plus series that they are still doing this year, even though they've delayed a lot of things. Right now, they're getting for a big anniversary for the original series. It sounds like they're timing the release of the new episodes to coincide with that anniversary. All this going on while they're introducing mutants, again, to the MCU, or revealing that mutants have been there this whole time. Like we just saw Namor during Black Panther Wakanda Forever. He's been a mutant living in the MCU for hundreds of years. They just introduced Ms. Marvel and canonized her as a mutant inside the MCU. They even played X-Men the Animated Series theme song during the last episode when they were talking about her being a mutant.
There's something different in your genes. Like a mutation.
They also just used Patrick Stewart as a version of Professor X based on the one from X-Men the Animated Series with that yellow floaty chair as part of the 838 Illuminati inside Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Our final member, Professor Charles Xavier.
I love the way that Marvel has been using the X-Men the Animated Series theme song for all their mutants so far inside the MCU the last couple of years. But if it wasn't clear during Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, that version of Patrick Stewart's Professor X is meant to be a completely different version from his original Fox Marvel X-Men character and from X-Men the Animated Series. They just said he was meant to be a totally new version of the character based on the one from X-Men the Animated Series. The brand new episodes that they're doing on Disney Plus later this year for X-Men 97, as they're calling it, basically like the continuation of X-Men the Animated Series, like season 6 of the actual series, just picking up where they left off. They just had a big X-Men 60th anniversary live stream where a bunch of creators talked about the comics, people talked about the series, the movies, all that stuff. And during that, Bo DeMeo, who's the showrunner for these brand new X-Men episodes, talked about what the plot's going to be, and we found out a little bit more about what their plans are for the series in general. The really good news is that it sounds like they actually planned for it to run up to 4 seasons. We've heard about all these cancellations and delays of all these big Marvel series and Marvel movies, but it does sound like they've had big plans for X-Men and they're continuing those. Pretty much all the cast of the original series came back. They're already starting work on season 2 right now of that revival. And in the new synopsis that the showrunner revealed, he said that Mr. Sinister is going to be the main villain. It just says, Storm and Cyclops try to continue the X-Men. Magneto comes in and wants to step up for Charles Xavier because obviously he's left with Landra. Mr. Sinister comes in and tries to end the X-Men once and for all. Back at Comic-Con, we did get a first look for the series. This is just some of the designs that they're using. Basically like a nicer, shinier version of the original design, so it'll feel like a true continuation of the old episodes. Within the live-action movies, they've been developing an X-Men movie in the background this whole time, and even though Kevin Feige implied that we'd see more of them sooner rather than later, he didn't want to wait that long before introducing them. We're getting Deadpool 3, where Deadpool and Hugh Jackman, Wolverine from those Fox X-Men movies, is coming back.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
You have questions.
Yes. I had a lot of questions. I'm sure you had a lot of questions, but rest assured, we're going to answer them right now.
That's meant to be like the tip of the iceberg during Marvel Phase 6. It's like an early Marvel Phase 6 movie. And then I think what they're going to do is they'll introduce more mutants during Marvel Phase 6. And then after Secret Wars, they'll fix the universe. Like after we talk about Kang Dynasty, Secret Wars, where they collapse the multiverse to a version of Battleworld. Use the Secret Wars movie as a swan song to all those Fox Marvel movies, the Fox Fantastic Four movies, the old Sony Spider-Man movies like Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield's movies. Then when they fix the multiverse and everything goes back to the way it was, they fix things in a slightly different way with a couple minor changes that explain how mutants are everywhere now. Like the whole Scarlet Witch joke with the reverse House of M. Lots more mutants.
And Scarlet Witch was forced to take action, whispering the words,
And then Marvel Phase 7 will be the beginning of a hardcore X-Men saga of movies, where like the next couple phases after Marvel's multiverse saga, which we're in the middle of right now, like after Phase 6, we begin a bunch of core X-Men stuff. The funny reason why they waited so long on that too, like why didn't they just start doing X-Men stuff right away? Because it does feel a little like Marvel Phase 4, Marvel Phase 5, Marvel Phase 6. People had a lot of complaints, especially about Marvel Phase 4. Like, why do you feel like you're spinning your wheels so much, Marvel? I have a feeling after the fact, after everything goes down, we get past Avengers Secret Wars into Marvel Phase 7, people will feel like the multiverse saga, like these 3 phases, will be the phase where we were just waiting for X-Men to show up. The saga of movies where we wanted to see more X-Men.
Thank you, Kevin Feige.
Love you, Kevin Feige. Thank you, MCU.
The funny thing about that is there's actually a rumor that there's a contractual issue that's preventing Kevin Feige and the Marvel people from doing legit X-Men the way that they wanted to do them for a long time now. Supposedly when Disney bought Fox and got the rights to all those X-Men Fantastic Four characters back, supposedly there were contracts in place with all that Fox stuff that prevented them from recasting some of those actors until beyond 2025. Now, there have been a couple of delays with Marvel movies, Marvel Disney Plus series. They've changed their release schedule, so we're not getting quite as many things quite as fast as they originally planned a couple years ago. But that would explain why Marvel has pulled the taffy, just taken so long in introducing more core X-Men characters. Like, we've seen mutants start to pop up, but as far as I can remember, they haven't used the word X-Men inside any of the live-action movies or the new live-action movies so far.
The plant gave me wings on my ankles and ears that pointed to the clouds. I was a mutant.
But the cool thing is there are a lot of Easter eggs for them setting up big X-Men ideas during Marvel Phase 5 and Marvel Phase 6, with Val, for instance, like Val, Thunderbolt Ross, being the reason for the creation of a lot of these things. Really good example of that is the Sentinel program. So a lot of people have seen in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Val basically becomes the director of the CIA. In Marvel Phase 5 in general is meant to be sort of like a Dark Reign type of era in Marvel history. Thunderbolt Ross is supposed to become President of the United States by Captain America 4, New World Order in the Thunderbolts movie. That's like the end of Marvel Phase 5. The whole idea is that during Captain America 4 and Thunderbolts, supposedly they're going to be using Tiamat from the Eternals movie, that dead Celestial in the Indian Ocean, finally paying off that Easter egg and saying that that's where adamantium comes from. And out of that, Val is going to be responsible now for the Weapons Plus program, where she is also responsible for the Weapon X program, which is where you get to the new MCU version of Wolverine. Now, they're doing Hugh Jackman Wolverine before that happens, before they introduce a new MCU Wolverine. But also they have the new Iron Man Armor Wars movie that's coming out. A lot of people have theorized that they're actually changing the plot just a little bit because obviously Rhodey is going to be a much bigger character and they'll use some slightly different villains because during the Armor Wars movie, Iron Man winds up fighting the government. Obviously, Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man is dead in the MCU right now. So you have to picture War Machine getting a lot of that storyline. War Machine fighting the government, who is now Val and Thunderbolt Ross, basically, because he's become the president of the United States, where they co-op Stark Tech and build their own giant armor suit, which is called Firepower. And while that's going on in the background, they use that Stark Tech to try and create a new version of a Sentinel program. So like in the MCU, Val will be responsible for the Sentinel program. So you can see in the background how they're slowly setting the stage with a lot of these big trappings of X-Men series where you have Sentinels, you have mutants popping up everywhere, and obviously it's all going to be tied to what happens during Secret Wars. So while they're doing swan songs for a lot of these legacy Fox Marvel characters like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, don't be surprised if in the background you start to see other mutants start popping up, like other big characters. Also, really good news talking about more X-Men stuff coming back. Patrick Stewart made it sound like he and Ian McKellen are both coming back as their characters as Professor X and Magneto during Deadpool 3. There'll also be a lot of cameos from the Fox Marvel movies during that too.
Now picture that. But every...
What the shit?
Because it sounds like they're waiting till the end of this year, like October at the earliest, for these new X-Men episodes, I don't expect to get any kind of official trailer for that until way later this year, but maybe we'll get some footage, some teasers. Of course, I'll do new videos, and I will do episode videos for all of them when it does come out. Right now, the report is they actually plan on doing 4 new seasons of it instead of doing like 2 or 3 as they're doing for the What If series. Supposedly, What If is going to end after season 3. If you have any more questions about X-Men or other related stuff in the MCU, just write it below in the comments, and of course I'll do videos as we get new footage and Easter eggs. Everyone click here for that brand new Iron Man Armor Wars first look, and click here for my new Mandalorian Season 3 Episode 5 video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.